Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make my delicious boudin balls with remoulade sauce from scratch. Now, boudin has origins tied to both French and Cajun cuisine. Now, in Cajun cuisine, a boudin ball is basically boudin sausage, which consists of a seasoned pork liver, and rice filling added into a casing. Now, in this case, they remove the filling from the casing, roll it into a ball, bread it, and fry it in hot oil. And of course, it's served with a delicious homemade remoulade sauce as well. This recipe makes about 14 boudin balls. It's a great Cajun classic appetizer. Absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you need to make your homemade boudin balls with remoulade sauce. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need 1 pound of chopped Boston butt pork roast, and along with that you will need 2 ounces in weight of chicken livers. Now traditionally boudin is made with pork livers, but unfortunately they didn't have that, so chicken liver it is. Alright, and along with that you're going to need some day-old cooked long grain rice, and along with that you will need some canola oil, salted butter or bacon fat, whichever one you prefer. You will also need some breadcrumbs, large eggs at room temperature, buttermilk at room temperature, mayonnaise, sour cream, creole mustard, honey. You can also use sugar in place of the honey, and some Worcester sauce. And for your seasonings, keep in mind you'll only need a small amount for this recipe. Okay, you will need some green onion, celery, green bell pepper, garlic, and some fresh parsley. For your additional seasonings, you will need some salt, black pepper, Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Now, if you don't have this, you can use Zatarain's Creole seasoning or the Sapper Mama Cajun seasoning. You will also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Poetry Magic, granulated onion, granulated garlic, cayenne pepper, smoked paprika, and some dried thyme. And for your tools, you will need a 4-quart pot or deep fryer. And since I'm using a 4-quart pot, I'm going to be using a thermometer as well. And along with that, you will need a large food processor and a cooling rack with an 11 by 17 inch baking pan underneath it. And there we have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. We're going to get started by chopping 2 ounces in weight of green onions. Make sure you chop the ends to your green onions as well. Next, I'm going to rinse off my celery, green bell pepper, and parsley off with cold water. Chop 1 rib of celery. Here I have 2 ounces in weight of the green bell pepper. Chop 2 ounces in weight of the green bell pepper. Alright, here I have 2 ounces in weight of the fresh parsley. I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to chop the parsley up really fine until it resembles coarse crumbs. Here I have 2 cloves of garlic. I've cut them in half. Take a garlic press and press the garlic. And there we go. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started with cooking our chicken livers. So in this large frying pan, I let it get hot for about 1 to 2 minutes. I'm going to spread some salted butter into the frying pan. Add your chicken livers. That's 2 ounces in weight, of course. Give this a quick stir. Now, as you are stirring the chicken livers, you're going to break it up into pieces using the wooden spatula. Let this saute for 3 minutes. Alright, it's been about 3 minutes now, and our chicken livers are done. Now you're going to go ahead and turn your fire off. Let this cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started with cooking our pork. So in this large saucepan, I let it get hot for about 1 to 2 minutes. Add 1 tablespoon of bacon fat right on in there. Spread the fat around the saucepan. Let the fat melt. Add your chopped Boston butt pork roast. That's 1 pound altogether right on in there. Give this a quick stir. Add 1/4 cup of water. Give this a quick stir. Cover with a lid. Let this simmer for 7 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 7 minutes now, and our pork pieces should be nice and thoroughly cooked. Now you're going to go ahead and turn your fire off. Let this cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, let's get started with pureeing our pork. So in this large food processor, add your cooled, cooked pork pieces right on in there. Blend this for about 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, that looks good. Alright, let's get started with pureeing our chicken livers. So in the small food processor, add your cooled, cooked chicken liver pieces right on in there. Blend this for about 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, that looks good. Alright, let's get started with making our boudin filling. So in this large saucepan, I let it get hot for about 1 to 2 minutes. Add 1 tablespoon of salted butter and 1 tablespoon of bacon fat right on in there. Spread that around the saucepan and let it melt. Now, before you add your seasonings, this is very important. You want to make sure you reserve 1 tablespoon of green onion, 1 tablespoon of celery, and 1 tablespoon of the fresh parsley for the remoulade sauce that we're going to make later. Add a half a cup of chopped green onion, a half a cup of chopped celery, and a half a cup of chopped green bell pepper. Stir all your ingredients together. Let this saute for 6 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 6 minutes now. Add your 2 cloves of pressed garlic, followed by your minced pork roast and your minced chicken livers. Stir all your ingredients together. Let's add some seasonings. Add a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a half a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, a half a teaspoon of Chef Paul Prudhomme's Poetry Magic, a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/4 or a half a teaspoon of dried thyme, and 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped parsley. Stir all your ingredients together. Now you're going to go ahead and turn your fire off. Add 3 cups of cooked rice right on in there. Make sure that your rice is warm or at room temperature. Do not add cold rice in there. Stir all your ingredients together. And from there, our boudin filling is now done. Let this cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, let's get started with our seasoned egg batter. So in this medium-sized bowl, add 3 large eggs at room temperature, a half a cup of buttermilk at room temperature, and for your seasonings, add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of granulated onion, 1/4 teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 2 teaspoons of Creole mustard. Take a whisk and stir all your ingredients together until well combined. Here we have some pan juices from when we cooked our chopped pork roast. We're going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of that right on in there. I'm going to take my whisk and stir all the ingredients together. That's going to give it a nice flavor. Alright, let's get started with our seasoned breadcrumb batter. So in this medium-sized bowl, add 2 cups of plain breadcrumbs, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a half a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, a half a teaspoon of Chef Paul Prudhomme's Poetry Magic, 2 teaspoons of granulated onion, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a half a teaspoon of dried thyme. Stir all your ingredients together. Alright, our boudin filling has cooled. Now to form it into boudin balls, you're going to take a small amount and add it into a palm of your hand. Each amount should be about 2 ounces in weight. And you're going to form that into a ball. Rice plays a very critical role in forming the mixture into a ball. So if it doesn't form into a ball like it's supposed to, you can add just a little bit more rice at a time, about 1/4 additional cup of cooked rice, and stir it and go from there. But be careful not to add too much rice, okay? And as you can see, that's nice and formed into a ball. And as you can see, I'm throwing it into the air, and as you can see, it's landing in my hand and it's not breaking apart. That's Perfect. So you're going to take your formed boudin balls and place them onto a serving plate. Place these into your refrigerator for about 15 minutes. If you're using a 4-quart pot, preheat your fire to medium heat. If you are using a deep fryer, set it to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, let's get started with heating our oil. So in this medium-sized 4-quart pot, I've added 48 fluid ounces of vegetable or canola oil right on in there. And since I'm using a pot, I've added a thermometer in there as well. If you're using a deep fryer, you're going to add the amount of oil according to your deep fryer's instructional manual to determine how much oil to add. Let the oil get hot until the oil reaches a temperature of 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you have a cooling rack with an 11 by 17 inch baking pan underneath it ready to go before you begin frying your boudin balls. Alright, let's get started with breading our boudin balls. So we're going to take 2 boudin balls at a time and we're going to add it into the seasoned egg batter and carefully coat the boudin balls in the seasoned egg batter. From there, we're going to transfer them into the seasoned breadcrumb batter and coat the boudin balls with the seasoned breadcrumb batter. Now we got to double dip them. So we're going to remove them out of the seasoned breadcrumb batter and transfer them back into the seasoned egg batter and coat them again with the seasoned egg batter. And once done, transfer them back into the seasoned breadcrumb batter and coat them again with the seasoned breadcrumb batter. And there we go. Our boudin balls are nice and breaded. So from there, we're going to take them and add them into the hot oil. Now we only need to fry these for a very short period of time because the filling is fully cooked. And make sure you only fry 4 boudin balls at a time. Let these fry for 2 minutes. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes now. We're going to take a mesh straining spoon and we're going to remove the fried boudin balls from out of the hot oil. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds to allow some of that oil to drain. And from there, we're going to take our fried boudin balls and place them onto a cooling rack with an 11 by 17 inch baking pan underneath it. Let these cool for about 5 to 10 minutes before serving. Alright, let's get started making our remoulade sauce. So in a small food processor, add 1/3 cup of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of creole mustard. Now remember I told you to reserve 1 tablespoon of the chopped green onion, the chopped celery, and the fresh parsley. Now we're going to add that in there. Next, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 teaspoons of honey or sugar, and for your seasonings, you're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1/8 of a teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Blend this for 30 to 45 seconds. And from there, our homemade remoulade sauce is now ready. And that's it, all done. Here is the final presentation. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Boudin balls with remoulade sauce, made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. I have an official website for all of my recipes, including this one. Go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go eat and take a bite. Now I have my dipping sauce here, so one thing to do is you take the boudin ball, dip it in the dipping sauce, the remoulade sauce, and eat it. I mean, y'all, it is really, really good. The boudin ball, as you can see, is moist. It's well seasoned. You can taste the flavor of the pork and the pork liver and the seasonings. And it got a little nice outer crust from that breadcrumb. And it also complements the remoulade sauce really well. Oh my goodness, y'all. When I tell y'all this is a winner, it is absolutely delicious. Mm, mm, mm. So, give the recipe a try. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Peace.